See?
Well, for us, we were growing up when it was just like getting started, like Snapchat.
Kind of like the birth of it.
Yeah. So we would, I mean, for me, I would find myself comparing myself to other people online, and it made me insecure. Why don't I have those things? Why don't I have those shoes? You know. I feel like these days it's a lot easier to cheat.
What do you mean?
Social media.
Possibly. I would say the possibilities there.
Well, not what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Lust.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Who's
saying.
primarily on social media?
Women.
Showcasing what?
Themselves.
Boobs and butts.
And men will look.
Mm-hmm.
Of course we're gonna look. It's again, we're wired that way. For those of us again that are heterosexual, we're wired that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we always gonna appreciate it. If you're gonna put it out there, we're not gonna be like, oh no, avert my eyes. We're not gonna do that.
Right.
But again, that depends on how you present. It matters for me too. If I don't present myself in a way that you find appealing, what you gonna do? You're gonna curve me. I'm like, I'm not taking that dude seriously. You see how he tried to come up to me? He was dressed like this. He talked like this. He smelled like this. This is what he talked about.
Conversations before.
You're gonna be looking at him like, man, nah.
Yeah.
We feel similarly. She came dressed like this. Oh yeah, she'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm not taking her serious.
Right.
Absolutely not. She got to get some things together if she wants me to look at her in that way. And you only get one first impression.
That makes sense. I do that with guys. I do that.
So it goes both ways.
What you put on social media is what I'm definitely like, yeah.
Yeah. I loved having that conversation. I'm like, yo, it's still you. I think some people think like it's like an avatar of them. No, that's you. That's all I know about you.
Right.
So you might want to consider how you portray yourself.
It's like, it's how literally how you present yourself to the world.
I think about that. I'm not like, I don't live on social media because thankfully I was born and discovered who I am way before social media was even a thing.
Good for you.
But I do understand your generation, my son, I think my son and your kids are probably in a different generation, but their generation and beyond, it's very normal. So like my son doesn't have social media. I have no intention on allowing him to have it.
Wow.
Because it's hard enough being a kid.
It really is.
It's hard enough trying to figure out who you are. You don't need to be comparing yourself to all these other people online and what they have and what you think they don't have, or looking at how they choose to present themselves. You get no context for what's going on behind that perfect picture or that perfect video or perfect quote.
That makes sense because my mom was like that. I always wanted a MySpace.
Oh yeah, that's what I grew up with. MySpace was cool.
She did not. I didn't have social media until what, 7th, 8th grade,
Middle school.
Yeah,
Both of us.
That's
yeah.
because I whined for it, honestly, because it was
Yeah.
a thing. So I like your parenting style. That's
Yeah, because to me, I know what it's like to be a young man, so I can empathize with my son. It's hard enough.
it is.
The last
Even
thing
as
I
a
want to do
woman.
is make it harder for him and start thinking like, you know, am I less than? Are these kids more special than me? Why do they have these things and I don't?
Yeah.
I don't want that ever to be a thought in his mind. So I know that to me is a form of, not, to be clear, not that I demonize social media. I think it can be a great set of tools to reach people, to build community, to foster connection. I think it's possible. I don't personally have all of that experience yet because I'm relatively new to it, but I do think that it is possible. But I think that we get lost in it, which is why I asked you the question about with especially you guys are a little bit older, young girls. Take 10 years off of your age. Imagine a young girl, 13, 14, 15 years old.
That did happen to me.
How challenging that might be. Bodies are changing. Maybe there's more comparison complex. Maybe there's online bullying and shaming.
And I'll be honest.
I think that makes it harder.
Well, I actually catfished because I felt like that. So.
See?
Well, for us, we were growing up when it was just like getting started, like Snapchat.
Kind of like the birth of it.
Yeah. So we would, I mean, for me, I would find myself comparing myself to other people online, and it made me insecure. Why don't I have those things? Why don't I have those shoes? You know?
Yeah.
I
can see it. Like I've had young clients, so I've talked to them because obviously I don't know what that's like. Because again, I know who I am, but I've listened to them and the way that they've described themselves, and it saddens me. They're like, again, like, am I not worth as much because I don't have X, Y, and Z like she does, like he does? He got the new Jordans. How come I don't got them?
I feel like that's why people catfish.
Yeah. Or people misrepresent themselves, right? That's all catfishing is. I'm misrepresenting who I really am or what I'm about. And I think that, again, this is not anti-social media. I'm not saying that. But I think we got to understand the impact that it can play in our lives, in our kids' lives. And I hope for your children's sake, it might be better by then because they're obviously very, very small.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have better guardrails, so to speak. But my son, he's in it. So I'm trying to be very proactive and trying to protect that level of innocence from him, while also understanding that there's already enough challenge and complexity with being a young teen, a young adolescent, trying to discover who you are. Like we've talked about in this conversation. I don't want it to be any harder. It's hard enough.